My husband and I just recently celebrated our 10th wedding anniversary, and we had couples over for dinner, and this is the party favor that I created. We'll also show inside the candy tin. I also have miniature wrapped Hershey's where I put our picture on the cover, and our information is on the back. I know that's probably kind of blurry because it's small and it's up real close. So to create this label, the following products that we have are Terrifically Tacky Tape, some Mod Podge, or that's Martha Stewart Decoupage, the Circle Tin, a little bling, and of course some blue ribbon. So stay tuned. Next we'll go over to the Cricut, and using the Storybook cartridge, which is typically, I think, my all-time favorite border for anything dealing with weddings and love, and that's this heart-shaped border here, which is found under the number 2 key on Storybook. What I did is I welded 3 of these together so that I can make a border to try to fit all the way around the tin. And on the very last one, I stretched it out just a little bit more to go all the way on the end. And then to make a label that joins this border right at the center, I use this shape from Home Accents. So right now, we'll let our Cricut start cutting, and we'll be back to go to the next step. Okay, now we've cut out all of our Cricut pieces. This is our border, and this is the piece that we'll use to tie the border together. Next up, we're going to put our trim around the can. So what I did was I took my Terrifically Tacky Tape, and I just placed it all the way around my tin can, the lid. So we're going to pull off a piece of the tape. And what I did was I just started it off and then roll off all the tape. The one thing about using Terrifically Tacky Tape with ribbon is that there's a little room here to pick it up if you put it in the wrong place. So we'll go all the way around and we'll put it together like that. So this is our lid. Next up, we're going to put our border around the tin, and I had to make 11 of these, so I started out with Mod Podge first, and then I picked up at AC Moore, because it was on clearance, this Martha Stewart Decoupage glue and sealer. And for this particular project, I actually like the Martha Stewart product better, so that's what we're going to use. So the Martha Stewart glue sealer comes with its own brush, and I just lightly brush the tin to seal the border on the tin. This dries clear, just like the Mod Podge does. But for some reason, I just had an easier time using this versus Mod Podge. Doing this to make sure it's glued down. Everyone who has seen me craft knows how much I love using Microsoft Word to create different tips and tricks to use on my projects. So today, I pulled out my full AV labels. They're clear. It's label number 8665. And I use this label because if you use these clear labels on white paper or any type of white background, a lot of times the actual rim of the label, it just kind of fades away into the background. So this is always good for that. So now we're in Microsoft Word, and I have the file up, which has the labels that I printed. What I actually did was I took our picture, which of course was a square. I opened it up in Microsoft Paint, and then I changed the shape from a square to a circle just by resizing the photo. So to get my text in a circular motion, I open up WordArt. I have it ready here. Put in the text and click OK. And then you have to format WordArt, one, so that the words appear on the front as opposed to in the background. And then you click the A on the WordArt menu bar, which allows you to change the different sizes or style of how you want your word art, and we're going to select the circle. Once it's in a circle, and just so we'll clear that up and it'll be easier to see, I put it on another screen. I added it to another page so we can see it more clearly, but once you have it up, then you can resize it to a circle. And one of the things you have to practice doing is you'll notice here I have the extra space for the words and I have it here, but over here it's missing. So after 2010, I need to add some spaces. So we'll pull it out to that circular motion. And that's how we get in a circle. And then I added our picture in here, and I just reshaped the words all around until I got it to be the perfect size. And so next we'll print the label and we'll adhere it to our tin. So we now have our label on the lid, and once the border dries, I just added the little cut from Home Accents and then put some heart-shaped bling on it. The final touch. Next, I'm going to show you how I made the labels for the candy, which is inside the tin. The first thing I did was decided what I wanted to do and to open up and eat one to have a snack. But the real reason I did that was to actually measure the size of the wrapper. The miniature Hershey bars no longer come with the paper wrapper that you can take off. It's now actually embedded on the foil of the paper. And so I needed to get a good measurement on that. So I just took my T-square and I measured the length and width. And so it's 3, and I turned it, and the actual red portion of the label is a little shy of 1.5, so I just used that as my measurement. It wouldn't matter if the actual label was completely covered, which on the right hand side you can see. So I went over to Microsoft Word, and I started with the basics, which was a square. I just added a square from the Shapes menu, and the square is 3 inches by 1.5 inches. The next step I did, which you'll see here, is I filled the square in by colors. So if you right click on your empty square, we'll do it on this one, and select Format Word Art, and here under the Colors and Lines menu, the Fill option, you click in there, select Fill Effects, and I wanted 2 colors. I was trying to incorporate our wedding colors, which were blue and silver. But since the silver wouldn't really be silver, it'd be more than gray, I chose to add white. So my first color I select is blue, and my second color is white. And I used the From Center option because since the center wasn't really going to be seen, I was really putting more of the white there. So select that and hit OK. And you'll see the mixed shading here in the color box. You select OK, and there you have your filled-in shape. Next, I inserted our picture, which I just shaped. You'll see there, I can just slide it around, which I just made sure it was exactly 1.5 inches wide, and then I played with the height. I added, using Word Art, my text. Our names at the top, and at the very bottom is the actual date and anniversary. Slide that over some, and I put them as close to the edge as possible because then I also used my adhesive, and I just slid the adhesive either down on this end or up on this end, and just depended on how the paper came out. I was able to get about 15 to 18 of these labels per 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So once I got that all done, I cut them all out by hand, and then I just used. And I also want to give a special thanks to our photographer, J Law Photography, who took these pictures of us that I used on the label as well as on the candy wrapper for our anniversary celebration. So if you have any questions, please send me an email at CassieCropCorner@yahoo.com. You can also leave any questions on my blog or just leave a comment and let me know. And if you just so happen to want to do your own twist on this example, please do so and be sure to come back and share it with me. Thanks for watching my video, and happy scrapping!